This is a course to set up Hello World data for BRM, components BRM-PDC-ECE. The objectives is in two parts. The first, after completing this lesson, you should be able to describe a high-level component architecture, add services and events into BRM, sync service data from BRM to PDC, add ECE data, and sync the data to PDC. That completes the first part, is the setting up of the data. The second part is, after you complete that lesson, you should be able to use the setup data for PDC and BRM data entry. Okay. The high-level component architecture, there's three parts. BRM server is the customer account application, so the BRM server. Customer account application, it masters some data configurations. PDC is a Java web app, and it manages pricing data. And ECE is a Java SE app, and what it does is it manages charging and rating for events. So here's the diagram. It's rather detailed, so do take time to have a look at it. We have the BRM application down here. We have the PDC web application up here, which the web browsers use to communicate with it. And then there's the ECE application down here. So what we're going to start with is BRM. We're going to start by deploying service and events. So we have service and event files, and we're going to deploy those into the BRM application. So add services and events into BRM. I'm going to log in to the Unix system VM, start BRM server, and we're going to deploy a Hello World service and event into BRM, the BRM server, and then view events in BRM using SQL+. So the BRM database, we're going to use SQL+ to see that we've added the service and event. So what I have here is a text file of my commands, so I'm going to be doing some copying and pasting from here so we can see the events. So what I've done is I've logged in to my VM, and I'm just going to have a look at what's running. And we can see the Oracle database is running, so I could do ps-ef and ref for Aura just to see my database. Now I'm going to start by starting BRM, so we have a script that will start it. Okay, BRM is now started, so let's have a look at it. Script for the portal services. What we can do here is we can see DM Oracle. We see the DM IFW sync. And another process we do see is the CM one, which is right here. So we have the Oracle, the sync, and the CM. So if we go back to the diagram, we can see BRM application. We have the DM sync, that's for syncing data when we're receiving data for syncing. And the CM is the connection manager when we're using Customer Center or Developer Center. These are to view data. And the DM Oracle is the connection client that communicates with the Oracle database and feeds the BM application. Connects to it, right? Okay, so BRM is started. Now what we're going to do is we're going to deploy the Hello World server event. So we're going to change the directory. This is just a common directory where this is done. Okay. Change the directory. And we can see our event. in our service file. So let's just have a look at those. We'll have a look at the service file. And this is how it's defined. You can see that this needs to be fixed. Fix that. Okay. That's fixed. And we also have the event file. So make sure that one's correct. And we can see that it is. So it's defined as event delayed activity. Hello World Event 3, this is how they're defined inside the BRM. So we're going to deploy those into BRM. So we'll do that now. First deploy the service. And we can see that it's successful. And next we'll deploy the event. That was successful as well. What we're going to do is we're going to use SQL Plus to view the added events. Okay, so we're going to log into SQL Plus. And we're going to look at the services which have Hello World in them. We can see our Hello World 6 here. These were other Hello World services that I was adding on previous attempts as I was preparing to do this. Okay, so let's have a look at the events as well. See if the event is in there as well. Okay, we can see that I have my Hello World 6 event. Okay. If we wanted to, there's ways to look at, because it is, we can have a look at all the events that are begin with event. So these are all the events which have the word that start with Hello World delayed. So we can see our Hello Worlds, our movie download. This is one that was added. I added on a previous exercise. All right. So that's our little bit on SQL Plus. This brings us to the next part, which is we're going to sync. So let's go back to the slides. We're going to sync service data from BRM-PDC. In this case, we're going to sync our service that we added. So we're going to start the PD. First of all, we're going to start the PDC services. These are required to sync from BRM to PDC. Then we'll do the actual sync from BRM. We're going to sync the BRM service to PDC. Then we'll view the results in PDC web app. So if we go to the diagram, so here's what we've done is we've done the deploy of the services and events. The Hello service, Hello World service, Hello event was deployed. And what we're going to do is we're going to sync PDC. Before we run sync PDC, we do need to start the PDC application up. So we'll start the web service instance up. And we also need to start the RRE and BRE processes. Okay, so let's do that. So we'll do this manually. What we're going to do is we're going to start the WebLogic instance. Okay, you can see it is running. What I'm going to do is log into it. So we're now connected to it. We're going to log in. Okay, so we're logged into the PDC app. I'm going to click the service event map. And so this is the top level. We can see our Hello World Service 1, Hello World Service 2. What I'm going to do is click this button, and we can see Hello World Service 1 and 3. What we don't see is 6. So what we want to do is we want to sync that. So let's sync that now. So WebLogic is running. And we need to start our BRE and RRE processes. All right, so let's start the RRE engine first, and then we're going to start the BRE engine. So I'll change to the right directory. Okay, -L. You can see our start program for the BRE one, and we see our start one for the ERE. Start, start. Here it is, start. Okay, so let's do that. Let's run the start one. I'm going to run it with the ampersand so that it goes into the background. I'm also going to run it in a window on its own. That way what I'll be able to do is we'll be able to watch the processes as it's, when I go to sync it, we'll be able to see the results come up in the RRE at a later date when we go to do that. Okay, so that's the RRE. And I'm going to next start the BRE. Okay, we'll start the BRE, and they'll both be running here in a moment. So PS RRE. Just to clarify that, we can see it running, and we can see the BRE running as well. So just clear that. Then when messages come up as they run, we'll see them come up in that window. Now that that's running, we can now do the sync. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the sync. So the sync is in here as well. So let's just have a look at it. In the right window. Let's go to the right directory here on this one. Okay, so we're in the BRM integration pack directory, and so that's integrating BRM and PDC. So if we go back to the diagram, we can see BRM, PDC, and sync PDC, RRE, BRE. So these components, these three components, are part of the BRM PDC integration pack. Okay, so we're going to run the sync PDC now because RRE and BRE are running. I'm going to run that. So we're going to start the sync PDC. And we can see the event starting, event 1 of 8. So what they do is they go through a certain amount of different things. It does an extract, it analyzes, transforms, and then completes it. So it goes through the series. So it's going to extract data from BRM. It analyzes to make sure it's valid for going into PDC. And then what it's going to do is it's going to transform the data from BRM into a PDC format and then load that into PDC. If we look back here on in our results, we can see that we have, let's see, where is it here? Well, it was successful. That's a good sign. And RRE subscription means that it's going to be subscribed between the PDC and BRE. So it's been doing that, and you can see that it's Hello World Service 6. So that's a good sign, right? Now let's go back. What it does is when it ends, it says the next run. So this is a process that you can start up, and in this case, it's just set for each day. So once a day, it's going to run this. That should you make updates into BRM, those updates would then be synced during that one-day cycle from BRM up to PDC. So we started the processes, we did the sync. Now what we're going to do is we're going to view the sync data in the web application. So let's go back to the web app. And once again, we're here in the event service map. And if I click on the ad, now I do the pull down, we can now see Hello Service 6. So this could now be used in PDC. Okay, so that's what we've done. So now what we've done is we deployed the service into BRM. Then we did the sync PDC, so it was synced up to PDC, the web app. We log in with the web browser. We can view the service in the web in the application. Okay, so that's that. So next, we're going to look at adding ECE data and then syncing ECE data into PDC. Right? Okay. We're going to add spec files into ECE, so they're called ECE spec files. We're going to add those. We're going to look at those. And then we're going to generate PDC product and event data from the spec file using ECE utility. And then what we're going to do is use a PDC utility to import the data into PDC. So if we look at the diagram again, let's just do this. See in both at once. So here we have it. So in the ECE application, the spec file is going to be put in the proper directory for the ECE application. I'm going to use a utility, the ECC utility, to generate some data, XML data. And then we're going to use a PDC utility to import it into PDC. Okay. So just a note here, the Hello World service and event data is set up in BRM ECE. Afterwards, and once this is completed, we'll have the service and event in BRM, which we've seen by using SQL+. And we have seen that the service is in PDC. We need to get the event into PDC. This cycle will put the event into PDC. Okay, the event will be put into PDC now. So let's just have a look at the spec file that we're going to use. So the spec file has a product name, and what we're going to do is we notice that this is the service name, which is Hello World Service 6. And if we go to the PODL file, we can see that that matches this. Okay, now I'm going to fix this form here. Okay, so we see that the name matches. And when we go here, we see the event name, which is Event Delayed Activity Hello World 6, and we can see that that matches the Event Delayed Activity Hello World 6 that was loaded into BRM. So these are going to match. And this is the name that's going to be used inside PDC. So let's run through that. Let's go through our notes here. And we'll do this. So our next step is this. So it should be in a directory. Let's change that directory. Control C to get out of the sync PDC. Change to that directory. And we can see the spec file is here. More. Yeah, you can see that it's the Hello World Service 6 that we're looking at. It's fine. Okay, so it's in the right directory. So now we're going to change to the ECE utility directory and run ECC. when we run it, we're going to use a command which is PDC spec gen. So what it's going to do is it's going to generate PDC data from the spec file. Okay, so it's been successful. Let's have a look at the results. We'll have a look at the product directory where it was created. Okay, we can see that file there. Let's have a look at it. Some more. Okay, so we can see it's a ECE rating. This is it. All right. And we can have a look at the event as well. Let's do a more on it. We can see it's our Hello World 6 event. Okay. See the whole thing. Now we're going to go to the PDC utility directory. Okay, it's the PDC utility directory. And what we're going to do is we're going to move the XML file from the event directory here. And we're also going to move the product one as well to the same. They're both here. Oops. The whole command. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the event portion. Okay. So the import was successful. Okay. Now for the Hello World, what we want to do is it needs to be, because of the way it's generated, it doesn't work for our example. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and modify that service that's generated. So we're going to convert the Hello World 6 to Hello World Service 6. And so that's going to match. It's going to match the service name from BRM. If we go back here, we can see that it's Hello World Service 6. And we're going to match that to Hello World Service 6. Just tap that down. See that it is correct. So we do have our Hello World Service 6. Now we're going to import that one. Let's do that. Okay, and that was successful as well. Okay, let's go back to our slides. So we generated, so we added the spec file, PDC, product, and event XML data files. We imported them into PDC. So now they should be in all three areas. So in BRM, we've seen that with SQL. In ECE, it's the spec file. Now let's have a look at PDC to see if the event made it. So if we do add this, let's just add this to have a look. So we can see our Hello World 6 here in the list. So what we're going to do is to view the event, we're going to click Add Events. And here it is, Hello World 6 event. Okay, so there, it's made it. So in conclusion, in summary, what we have is let's just have a look at the diagram again. I do like the diagram. So we started here with BRM. we have the service and event files. So if we go back here, we can see our service POD file, which was for our Hello World. Let's see, service one first. There's our service one, our Hello World service 6. We have our Hello World event, and those were imported. They were deployed into our BRM application. Then we use sync PDC, which then synced them up into the PDC application, and the service became visible, and that was visible in our application. We can see it here. And then what we did was, our next step was that in ECE we have a spec file for our Hello World service. So if we just have a look at that spec file, it's our Hello World event 6, and it's our Hello World service, which match. So what we're doing is, in ECE, we're matching our service and event into ECE, described in this spec file. Okay. And then what we did was we used ECE to create the XML files, and then we imported the XML files into PDC, and now the service and event are in PDC. So go back to our slides here, and that concludes this note, which is the Hello World service and event data is set up in BRM, ECE, and PDC. And that completes this first part of the first lesson of this two-part course.